to get the job done.
Yeah, playing the Kyogre variant that was popularized by Azul and that whole crowd. Caleb getting second place with that last week, and it's looking like trying to finish things off. Maybe we can get a Lost Box deck winning regionals here.
Maybe. We've been looking for it. It's one of those decks that continues to find its way into the top 8 and just misses. And the strategy is pretty easy to check out. You know that you're always going to be looking to potentially work in that Kyogre. And maybe when you get to the end of the tournament, you're just playing against such strong players that it's hard to surprise them anymore. Wow, that's a surprise. 4 energies from Justin in the prize cards.
And the Raikou V, one copy in the deck. This is one way to kind of get a heavy hit off early, but you also have that Dragonite V to go along with it. Meanwhile, the MVP of this Arceus Giratina deck, that's Squavit in the prize cards.
Poor Squavit at the tippy top too. I'm not going to see the Nest Dash helping out, but there's a couple other surprises that Dyson has included that may be the MVP now.
We'll have to see, but our players are ready here, just waiting for that official go-ahead. That 4 energy in the prize cards has to be rough for Justin.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the first things that Justin checks as we get things underway here in round number 5.
And already with the notes, looks like Justin will be going second. All right, Dyson going first, having the Zacian V, which is actually a unique inclusion, at least nowadays, for this Arceus Giratina deck.
Yeah, it's a fun surprise to have here. Roar of the Sword, you've seen so successful for the Gardevoir deck, so might as well include it here. Really just trying to lock in that guaranteed energy for the Arceus V. It's the one thing that this deck tends to miss, and if it does, it's really a problem. So sure enough, going to be able to guarantee that on an opening turn where you're not going to attack anyways. You can't do that, so might as well guarantee those energies, and this is a pretty impressive start, even though you're not doing too much.
Yeah, that allowed Dyson to attach an energy to that Giratina V on the bench as well, so you could have some options going forward. But that's all you really need in an Arceus deck. Arceus V, energy. Next turn is when things start getting a little dicey.
Dicey for Dyson.
Justin's going to start things off with the Colress's Experiment. Uses it before the flower selecting. Get the most information out of your cards that you can. And eyeing down a couple switch card, Echoing Horn, a Psychic Energy, and then I couldn't see the 5th card.
Yeah, starting to worry a little bit. We saw no way to search out Pokemon. Not sure what the hand has, but usually you want a little bit of a mix there, so you can start to build up a board and get these cards into the Lost Zone. Can have 3 guaranteed with these 2 off of the Colress's Experiment and the Comfey in the active spot. Maybe Radiant Greninja can help out here. Going to be looking for a Battle VIP pass, likely.
Well, there is that energy discard, Concealed Cards. Gets to draw 2 cards from your deck, and that ability really helps this Lost Zone box deck go through all the cards very fast. And look at that, Battle VIP pass found.
Well, there you go. Just prize all your energies, and the only thing left are Battle VIP passes, right? Sure enough, going to find that there, and with plenty of switching effects, this could be a very strong turn. I think the one thing we're missing now, potentially, when you think about this deck is, can they get the turn 1 Radiant Greninja? This might not be the exact matchup that you have to do something like that. You're not going to knock out these Pokemon directly, but sometimes it helps to soften them up, and Cramorant is usually a solid Pokemon to do just that.
Now this is where Justin gets to be like, oh, I did prize a few energies. All right, well.
I'm almost out of energies.
I know what I need to keep off flower selecting then.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's going to be really tricky to navigate these flower selectings, knowing that anytime you see an energy, you almost have to automatically forego whatever the other card is, and that can be dangerous. You can see some really important resources, those Mirage Gates, Kyogre, any relevant attacking Pokemon at that point, and you either have to have the energy or have the Pokemon. You can't have both.
Can't have both, I need it to. Now it looks like double Comfey off the Battle VIP pass is found. So Justin's going to try to build up this Lost Zone count as much as he can on this turn 1. But like you said, the ideal play is to end with that Cramorant and use Spit Innocently to take early knockouts or deal damage. Getting damage on that Arceus V is very important.
Well, whenever you see 3 Comfey, that's when you can really have some pop-off turns. 3 along with the Lost Vacuum play means that you have 7 for the Radiant Greninja.
The 2 cards Clara Energy.
Yep, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's so awkward to run into that situation, but yeah, gonna just continue to get more of these cards into the lost zone here now. Another potentially difficult decision here. Let's take a look.
Energy Sableye. No!
Yep. And
This
yeah,
is
with
so rough.
one more potential Comfey, you could get to 5 cards in the lost zone, which means that 5 on the next turn isn't too much to ask for, which could be a turn 2 Sableye, but there goes one immediately into the lost zone. So let's try one more time.
Switch cart to retreat that Comfey. Yet again, third flower selecting. 5 about to be in the lost zone. All right, it's not an energy. I think it's Nest Ball, Lost Vacuum.
Yep, so lost vacuum would lead to turn 1 shenanigans if there were cards like that for a Seal Stone or anything like that to remove, but oh, actually, is it there? Yeah, he's gonna grab the lost vacuum.
Wow.
There is for Seal Stone and Dragonite V.
What
No
is
way!
going
No!
on? Justin.
You had like no energies in deck, dude. Oh, he has the water energy and the switch card. He's got turn 1 Dragonite V.
This is insane.
He is him.
Star Alchemy finds, there's a lightning and a water in the deck.
Wow.
You can find that Mirage Gate if you're missing it, as long as there's a way to get out of the active spot.
There's a switch card in hand.
This is insane. I guess this is one way to...
He's got it in hand.
Gate.
He's got all of the cards.
You don't even need it for a Seal Stone. You're just using it because you're going to get rid of it with Lost Vacuum.
Yeah. This is unreal. Dyson's very first turn on stream, and he's going to lose his Arceus V.
Already has a Colress's Experiment for next turn to go along with it. Finds the escape rope.
Wow.
This is incredible. A turn 1 knockout from Justin here. There's that Mirage Gate.
I mean, there were not many energies. There were not a lot of cards that could get the job done there. Found the Lost Vacuum, but didn't even need it. Could have just found it off the 4 Seal Stone. Sure enough, that lines up with the turn 1 Dragonite V.
Even having, the third switch cart instead of the rope, so you can take a knockout on the Arceus V-Star. And there is that Dragon Gale on turn 1. Justin going down to 4 prize cards, leaving an Arceus V-Star deck without an Arceus V in play.
I have no words. This is terrifying.
And that's your job.
Yeah, not again. Dyson said, I've almost got Arceus V-Star guaranteed. Like, there's no way that they knock me out. I'll be fine. Instead, Adventurer's Discovery. What do you search out 2 Arceus V? Hopefully one of them stays around.
2 Arceus V and a Giratina V-Star maybe, just because if not, Dragonite's going to Dragon Gale yet again, take another knockout. Even so, Justin has the escape rope, can just escape rope and take a knockout on whatever's on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, and that just goes to show Justin thinking of everything in this situation. Understands the only Pokemon that was going to evolve would be the active Giratina V-Star. It's the only Pokemon he wouldn't be able to knock out, so have that escape rope off of the 4 Seal Stone ready to immediately take 2 more prize cards, and that is an uphill climb for Dyson.
Well, we're going to Roar of the Sword yet again, most likely.
So, let's try again.
I guess the good news is the fact that Justin is playing the list that seems very similar to Caleb and Azul's and Grant's. No boss's orders, so you'll at least have an Arceus V-Star ready to go next turn, but you can't even really get the knockout on this Dragonite V. It's going to take 6 prizes, most likely.
Yeah, and how do you handle this Pokemon at this stage? You need to have the Raihan in order to just be attacking for 200 and then have a Choice Belt to go with it. I'm not sure if all those pieces are even available in a list like this.
No, yeah, there's the Raihan and Choice Belt, but they're both one-ofs. Justin's going to start the turn off with the Nest Ball, just seeing the resources left. Oh, there's that Cramorant. Don't need you. Dragonite's a little better.
Yeah, we'll save Cramorant for later. Of course, could work in some chip damage and maybe clean up the game on a 2-prize Pokemon with something like that Sableye later on. But Justin, with no resources, is just going to take 4 prize cards in 2 turns and have all of those energies hopefully in the hand to close out at the end of the game. Tough choice.
There's that escape rope.
At this stage, I think you're going to have to surrender the Zacian V. The other two Pokemon at least could be evolved, and then you avoid running into more situations with lower hit points.
Doing, just normal stuff now. Colress's experiment. It's going to boost that Lost Zone up to 9. But Sableye is not even in Justin's mind right now. It is Dragon Gale all the way through.
Well, going to have the cards in the Lost Zone anyways, just in case we are able to switch gears at some point. But yeah, this is not a worry at all for Justin. Just going to continue to thin down, draw even more cards, and by the end of the game, if you don't have very much deck left, you're going to guarantee that Kyogre to close out.
First flower selecting here. That is going to mean 10 in the Lost Zone. I think it's a Mirage Gate Psychic Energy. A little awkward of a choice, but with how far ahead Justin is, I don't think it's too bad.
Yeah, we've seen this before where you don't always need to use all 4 Mirage Gate. It's almost impossible, but going to be thinking about how to close out in the situation, and thinks that is going to be a relevant resource.
It was a recycler, my bad. That's a little better.
Okay, yep. Well, knowing that you're going to be drawing 2 prize cards and maybe 2 energies would be nice, but Justin still has 2 basic energies in the prize cards hanging out.
Dyson found the V-Guard off the top of the deck. That energy would have been very helpful in preventing some of these knockouts from Dragonite. Not really.
Yeah, math doesn't like that yet, but it'll help maybe keep these Pokemon around if Raikou gets in there. Who knows?
Well, there is that V-Star. Like you said, needs to find that Raihan just to be able to take the knockout here. Well, there's the Raihan. There's the Choice Belt. Both are in the deck, but I don't know the first card that Dyson grabbed. Arceus V-Star. Oh, and a shuffle. That was quick. Raihan was not found, Kyle.
Yep, that's interesting. As we did see the Judge in hand, some maybe tunnel vision on the supporter for the turn, but we'll see about that. And it's going to be the double turbo here, so going to have to work through this Dragonite V now.
Well, there is that Judge. Both players shuffle their hand into the deck and draw 4 cards. Path to the Peak is in play, shutting off all rule box Pokemon abilities. It's only going to really matter for that Radiant Greninja on Justin's side of the board.
This is something that you worry about as a Lost Box player. And just any time that you're going to have that hand size limited, you're going to run into issues where you're going to need to continue to draw off of those flower selectings. And with this Dragonite V still in the active spot, I mean, at least it's still hanging around, but you're not going to be burning through the deck at that stage.
Off the Judge, Ultra Ball was found. Discard that Path to the Peak and that Giratina V-Star. Is going to look for that Bidoof most likely, just because you see that B-Barrel in hand already. And the math works out.
Yeah, maybe if there were another single prize Pokemon in the discard pile, you'd start to worry about potential Echoing Horn plays and then knocking out this Pokemon. So that's something that we also need to consider, as Justin could potentially target this Pokemon and bring it back and just make use of the Sableye to close out. But either way, should be a lot of damage potentially on a Pokemon like that Arceus V-Star this turn, which thankfully Dyson's prepared for. It does have that one of Sharon's Care.
Trinity Nova does 180 damage thanks to that double turbo energy. 3 energy will now get placed onto Dyson's benched Pokemon V-Stars. And Justin has some thinking to do, but still in a very great position here. Just going to Dragon Gale. All right, not much thinking.
Well, I can guarantee we're not going to see one more of those.
What?
Knock out all of your Compeys. Oh, that would be a disaster. And I mean, this kind of plays right into what Dyson's thinking about here. If the Sharon's Care is available, this would be a massive turn. But we don't have this guaranteed by any means. There's what, 1 card in hand?
It's a B-Barrel.
Oh, well then it's locked.
Found? Professor's research. Oh,
I think
went with the research.
That's tricky. I think you almost have to go for it at that stage. Just understanding that 1 Sableye would close this game out.
And off the 7 cards, not really anything you can play here. And he's really looking for, I guess, a double turbo just so you can retreat into the other Arceus. Now you're going to have to take a knockout on this Dragonite with just 50 HP left with your Giratina V-Star. Lose a couple energy.
Well, it's certainly not efficient, but you do potentially protect that Arceus V-Star, which is the name of the game. You didn't see anything from Justin's side. So going to continue to thin down a little bit more. Take a look with the nest ball. Don't think there's anything in particular that we're looking for, though.
Is Arceus V-Star the prince? Are we protecting the prince?
Is it time? Oh, wow. Gonna go for another Bidoof.
You lose the Sableye anyway. Might as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Has an Ultra Ball, can thin down the hand even more. Still hasn't drawn with Industrious Incisors yet. But there is that Lost Impact, taking the knockout on Dragonite V. Justin, a bunch of damage in play, but just 2 prizes left. Needs to find a Sableye here and a Psychic Energy.
We saw the nest ball there, along with the
Sableye.
escape rope. There is a Sableye. Now just going to look through. There is no Psychic Energy.
So that means Clara is an out. That means Recycler Mirage.
Certainly a few options. Pat to the Peak gonna be shutting off the Radiant Greninja, potentially drawing into some help. So it's all on Comfey right now.
Mirage
Mirage
Gate
Gate.
has the escape rope in hand, but again is missing the Psychic in deck. Had a Lost Zone 1. Couple Battle VIP pass to go along with it.
With the escape rope, you could always promote another Comfey.
Oh, it was the Mirage Gate
Wait,
Energy
what?
Recycler?
Oh, no. Looks like gonna pull the energy out first.
For another retreat, I guess.
Well, yeah, just
Radiant Greninja
just gonna
is
thin down at this stage and try to get a little bit closer.
That was a heartbreaking flower selecting there.
There's been a lot of that, but that's the price you pay when you get turn 1 Dragonite. You'd much rather be in this position.
Well, escape rope from Justin here forces Dyson to bring up that Arceus V-Star with just 1 energy attached. Flower selecting yet again and has the energy already to retreat. Recycler? Clara? Well, that was an easy decision.
Yeah, Battle VIP pass, not going to need that. Assuming Heavy Ball going to take a look at the 2 energies. Say, hey, I wish I had the purple one.
Which one's that one?
Psychic.
Oh, nice.
It's not written on there, but I remember.
Well, there is that retreat to Comfey. Flower selecting yet again.
Yeah, this is very safe. Just not going all in just yet. And
Now it's the Mirage Gate.
trying to find the pieces, and Colress Experiment's going to be found.
This can do it for you.
Don't know how many switching cards are available. We've seen so many already. There's Mirage Gate and the Recycler and a Pokestop.
There's also a Clara.
Well,
I think we're waiting till next turn. There's
Yeah.
no way you can lose, right?
Yeah. Well, you could. There's certainly some comeback mechanisms.
The Hawlucha coming down.
No. Plenty of energies remaining.
There's that Psychic down at the bottom. Now, do you Recycler now, or do you just try to hope that there's no Judge and you can Clara next turn? Because if you Recycler the Psychic Energy back, you can't Clara it back.
Yeah, there's a world where you can put a few energies back in. Maybe enough for the Radiant Greninja, for the Mirage, and then that could target down the Arceus V-Star. But then you also have the Clara Psychic Energy to hope for. But it is tricky with the Psychic in the Lost Zone and in the prize cards at this stage of the game.
There is that Recycler. Is going to put back the Psychic and a Water. And at least 1 more Water. You have to be careful because there are some cards that you want to draw off this Judge. So if you're putting back 5 energies, that means you have a chance to just draw a bunch of them as well. Oh, there's another Mirage Gate. Okay.
All right.
Well, if you have that.
Yes. Going to go ahead and set up the energy on the Sableye and the Radiant Greninja. Have some additional energies to draw into at this stage. And Dyson still needs to find 4 prize cards. There are no Vs in play. There's no way to really spread damage at this state. So you know you're going to just be attacking in with the active Pokemon. That's plenty of turns for Justin to try to close out here.
Yeah, I think Dyson's going to need a little help just to even attack with the active Pokemon. There's just that grass energy on it, and all 3 double turbo energy in the deck still. Does have a couple of Industrious Incisors to try to draw into it, but Justin is pretty much set up checkmate on board.
Yep, now hanging on to a card like that Raihan. Not going to be able to use that. I think if we see a knockout, it's going to be game ending. But Ultra Ball could potentially help out here. Thin down a little more. I mean, what are the perfect 2 cards you're looking for there? It's got to be the double turbo and the Charon's Care. And
yeah, double turbo Charon's. I guess Boss's orders the Sableye and hope Justin doesn't have the last energy.
It is smart to have the Psychic Energy already on the Sableye. Just line up for that Clair to be game ending regardless. If this Pokemon is around, it's going to be game ending. Energy off the top, retreat anything, helps out. So
Ultra Ball is going to thin the hand down a little bit more for these B-Barrel to put in some work. Has access to it. The Charon's is in the deck.
Yeah, there's still a lot of cards left in deck too, so finding exactly what you need could be tricky. But B-Barrel's going to try to help out. Get to see 2, and they got to be pretty good.
Judge Nest Ball. That's not good.
That ain't it, Chief.
Nest Ball thinning the deck down a little bit more. You can go and grab that Arceus V if you want. Game's already going to be pretty much over.
Yeah, and at this stage, even if you find just the double turbo, you can't even take the knockout. You're just giving the free promotion of the Sableye. You would have to pass the turn and hope that Justin never sees a switching effect or an energy.
Maybe Justin will bring up Sableye. There we see that Giratina V-Star. Again, Escape Rope just trying to get the hand down.
No.
Yet again.
Well, you could...
There's the energy for turn.
You could overcommit and knock this Pokemon out. That feels bad. 3 cards found. Double Turbo is now there. Not in time. But yeah, still missing...
Judge pass? No. All right, we're going to game 2.
Yep. Good to see there. Just understanding that there's no real way out there. Give yourself a little bit of time to try to close out a potential game 2. That was a pretty long opener there, as we got to almost half the time gone in the round.
And Justin took probably about 25 minutes of it just doing that turn.
Honestly, yeah. You think about it, there were what, just basically 2 attacks from Justin. That's all you need. It's going to be enough in a matchup like this. And you have to feel confident when you get the 7 cards in the Lost Zone on that opener.
Would have loved to see maybe that Raihan play to kind of make it more of a game, get that Dragonite off the board, but it is something that is really just tunnel vision. You're like, I need this Arceus to attack. Double Turbo Energy is the way to attack. Get that energy charged up, but...
Yep, we know there was that Psychic Energy in the discard pile, so Raihan could have led to that with the V-Guard along with finding the Choice Belt. You can take the knockout, hopefully avoid some issues with the return KO, because Justin really committed a lot of his resources to that Dragonite V, and the fact that it was able to attack 3 times in that game usually means that you're going to fall behind.
That's how math works out, Kyle, yeah.
And poor Comfey, you know? All that work, all that help, was able to charge up the Dragonite and get all the cards there. And what do you get in return? Nearly knocked out by your own homie.
Looks like we're fixing the headset a little bit there, but Justin has to be looking pretty good. Starting out the tournament 4-0, and you get that turn 1 Dragon Gale. Can he do it again?
All right. Meanwhile, on the other side, taking a look at Dyson's hand, this could be a pretty great start once more. I mean, you can't really argue the turn 1 from Dyson last game as well. It was very strong, but you just can't compete with the turn 1 knockout.
I think we're going to be looking for a second Arceus V, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Saw the energy in hand as well. Gonna take a little bit of time before we hop into game 2.
Maybe an issue with the headsets or something. Oh, no, looks like we're continuing. All right, there's the prize cards.
All right, I don't want to see 4 energies. That is very doable. 2 switch card at the bottom could be a very nice place to find those in that early stage of the game, and good little mix of supporters there for Dyson. Not too detrimental.
Now, it looks like Dyson chose to go second this game.
He said, please don't knock me out turn 1. That's one way to do it.
He got really afraid. Justin's going to start things off. That Hisuian Heavy Ball. We'll be able to look at those prize cards, see, oh, I got my energy this game.
Nice.
A little bit easier.
Didn't need him last game, though.
Not at all.
Yeah, this might be a little bit of a hiccup, too, is just giving Justin these additional cards into the Lost Zone could be tricky. The one benefit is it's a little more difficult to find that Battle VIP pass when you don't have the Culver's Experiment to help out. That becomes a dead card in the deck if you don't get it off on the first turn. So,
Flower selecting here. Justin has the option between Lightning Energy and that Lost Vacuum.
Well, I can't turn 1 anyways. Might as well throw it away.
And does have a Nest Ball, so we can see another Comfey, maybe another Flower selecting. Try to build that Lost Zone for next turn.
Yeah, we also saw the Lightning Energy. So could potentially find that Radiant Greninja if this Comfey is able to help out, or just use that energy to retreat. It is nice to be able to use those energies in the early stages for the manual retreat and then hold on to those switching effects. As later game, basically every single one of those guarantees that you're going to be getting an additional card into the Lost Zone.
And with that retreat of the Lightning Energy, there's another Flower selecting.
I think we saw Kyogre in there.
Get rid of it. You know?
No. My heart can't take it.
Actually, a pretty big debate, but it is going to the Lost Zone. No Aqua Storm for this turn. It was a Nest Ball was the other card.
All right.
Now, with Arceus decks, you usually just want to go first so you can get that energy and then get that Arceus V-Star. You're an evolution deck at the end of the day, so you want to be able to get those as fast as possible in play, and you can start getting some games going. But the regular Arceus V does have Trinity Charge. You can set up stuff with just a double turbo energy.
Yeah, that's important to note, as we will likely be seeing Dyson's turn starting off pretty soon. Justin already getting that 3rd card into the Lost Zone. It's a really strong opener. Just still haven't seen that Battle VIP pass, and that's not going to happen. So a few more dead cards in the deck. And Dyson's playing a little slower of a version. You see the Adventurer's Discovery in hand, and that means we're going to have multiple Arceus. Yay.
Yay! Adventurer's Discovery is a supporter that allows you to search your deck for 3 Pokemon V, reveal them, and put it in your hand. That means you can grab Arceus V, Giratina V, but you can also grab the V-Star as well. So a big boost of consistency for the deck, but it is your supporter for the turn.
Yep, in this list, it does almost guarantee, though, that you have that turn 1 energy. You can search out that Zacian V and have that Pokemon ready to go. And without the double turbo, it looks like that is going to be a solid Pokemon to rely on in the early stages. Could have the energy for turn and the energy from Roar of the Sword on both Arceus V.
I like both.
Yeah.
Both is good.
I don't want either one being targeted.
And there it is. Arceus V, Zacian V, and Giratina V found off that Adventurer's Discovery. seems like the discovery went pretty well.
Yeah.
And a Nest Ball. Get that Bidoof in play while you can. Pretty easy to knock out with Sableye later on, but if it's a B barrel, it's a little bit better. 120 HP.
Yeah, we've seen the spread in this deck when you're trying to go for the prize map. It can be interesting, especially with early Bidoof. You can target that Pokemon, use the Echoing Horn, and just continue to knock out those. Then you're just trying to target down 2 Vs. But with the Kyogre already in the Lost Zone, I'm not going to be relying on that giant 4-prize swing to close out a game. Instead, it's going to be a little more reliant on the V Pokemon this time around, and understandably so, as we saw the success of it in Game 1.
Listen, Kyle, no one expects the second Kyogre. It's not there.
That'd be
for a good reason.
That'd be a game loss. Wow, going to go with both energies on the Arceus V. Maybe preemptively thinking about that Dragonite. Wants to be able to reach for the 230 for the knockout there. So probably a pretty solid play, just knowing that your opponent doesn't play boss's orders. This Pokemon is going to be safe.
Flower selecting Energy Recycler goes to the Lost Zone now. There is 4 copies in the list, so you can be a little bit more careless with those early on, but still one of your big resource advantages that you have late game. Escape Rope brings up another Comfey. Flower selecting yet again. Now 5 in the Lost Zone. Still looking for that Colress's Experiment.
Yep, have not seen that just yet. Going to be looking for a little more help. Zacian V in the active. At least it is going to be some easy prize cards if you are able to find that Dragonite V, but it is nice when you get to cash in on a knockout of a Pokemon that would be evolving.
The choice was between Mirage Gate, Escape Rope. Justin ended up keeping that Mirage Gate. Had the switch card, now eyes down 2 energy off this Flower selecting. Lightning and a Psychic. I like the Lightning going.
Yeah. This is certainly tricky. I don't know what else is going on in the hand there. Gonna just have the Sableye, which...
Where's the double Lost Vacuum Forest Seal Stone? Nope, just energy on that Comfey, so you can retreat it later on. And it is now back to Dyson, who can finally get a turn to Arceus V-Star here. But now it's going to have to find Switch.
Yep, well, we got Starbirth. Usually pretty solid. Not sure if there were enough cards in hand to potentially use the Industrious Incisors first to try to get lucky there, but to go ahead and just find the cards of choice. Could just be the energy in the switch. Guarantee that knockout there and start to charge up your Pokemon.
V-Guard energy is the choice to go along with that switch. That will allow Arceus V-Star to use its Trinity Nova and start taking some prize cards here.
Yep, it says we're going to go back in. I think the judge is there, so could just be thinking, you know what, let's just guarantee that I'm going to have the pieces that I want, and then once I judge, I'll have that Beebrill to refill the hand potentially.
Now it does shuffle away Justin's hand that got a pretty good amount of cards in it, but still no Colress's Experiment. So if this judge is going to help Justin find that supporter card, maybe it's good for him.
Yes, still hanging out there with 6 in the Lost Zone. So Sableye could be a threat if we see that Colress's Experiment. We're at a tricky point. A lot of hit points, a lot of Pokemon that are going to be charged up on Dyson's side. You almost are guaranteed to be knocked out every single turn from this point out, and now it's going to be about maximizing the amount of damage that you can put in play.
That judge was very bad for Justin. Couple energy, Echoing Horn, Nest Ball.
Ooh.
Now the Nest Ball can grab Radiant Greninja, but not with this Path to the Peak in play, shutting off all those rule box Pokemon abilities. Justin's like, I'm tired of picking these flowers. I need to do some experiments.
Yeah. Science!
Plays down the Squavit, and there's that Industrious Incisors for 5.
Yeah. Honestly, you're not looking for much more than that at this stage. A couple bosses orders can just pick apart the bench and continue to just load up Pokemon. Have the answer lined up to take a prize every single turn from this point out. And put Justin on the back foot. He's going to need some help.
Pokestop off the top. That's a lot of help, actually.
Well, when you haven't seen a Colress experiment, that's
No, don't put it in the air, Kyle. All right, it's not going to mill multiple.
That's why you flower selecting first, right?
Well, you can nest ball for the Radiant Greninja.
Okay.
Bump the path to the peak, and then concealed cards into the Colress's experiment.
Yep.
That's how you draw it up.
Now I see the nest ball. That could definitely be a solid choice. I feel like we've seen this movie before, though. Pokestop is a dangerous card.
Oh, no.
Considering it. No! Every time! Every time!
Colress's experiment and Dragonite V along with that lightning energy go straight to the discard. Pokestop only gets item cards. And here's that nest ball.
Well, you would never flower selecting first, but that would have been a really bad choice too. Colress's experiment or the Dragonite V. I'd say if you could use the Radiant Greninja there, that'd be great, but you have to shuffle the deck to get there. Wow. Well, at least it's not in the Lost Zone. We could potentially see that Pokemon later on from the Clara. Radiant Greninja maybe going to help out here, and yes, does find the Colress experiment big time.
It was all planned, all calculated.
No. I disagree.
With that Colress's experiment, there's now 8 in the Lost Zone. A couple flower selectings can have Justin reach that Lost Mine attack.
All right, yeah, just going to be counting out those energies.
All the lightning are gone.
Yep. Got another Psychic Energy in play on the Comfey, one in the discard pile.
Is it a turn for Moonlight Shuriken? Take a knockout on the Squavit and deal 90 on one of these V-Star?
Yeah, we've certainly seen that before. Just try to cash in on maximizing the damage. Get that into play. You could even target down V Pokemon, honestly, and just see the damage on board, just trying to avoid maybe the Sharon's Care and go after some non-colorless Vs.
The retreat to that Radiant Greninja. Justin has an Energy Recycler in hand, but of course you want to save it so you can get that extra energy that you just retreated off back into the deck. There's that Mirage Gate. We'll be finding at least one more water along with one of those other energies. And we're going to see a Moonlight Shuriken.
You always know the energy are in there, but you sweat even more when they're at the top.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, did I miscalculate? But no, there's going to be plenty of energy in there. Not only the ones shuffled, but an additional water energy still in the deck. So going to get some solid damage on board this time around.
Where are you placing the 90 damage, Kyle?
It's tricky. I mean, I'm worried about Sharon's Care. You don't know if it's in the deck. You haven't seen it just yet. So,
and if you're basing it off of Landon's list from Portland, didn't play a Sharon's Care.
You could go after the Zacian V and maybe try to knock that Pokemon out later with the Sableye. And yeah, this is pretty solid. You know you're going to be targeting down those Pokemon later on, trying to get those 2 prizes from the Squavit and the Bibarel. You don't want to waste the damage on the Squavit because you're going to be leaving 30 damage off the board. So maximizing here to maybe let the Sableye help out at the end.
Who's the boss, Kyle? Because I think Dyson has an answer.
Well,
there's 3 of those boss orders in hand.
I mean, I'm more scared of Radiant Greninja than I am of Sableye at this stage. 180 damage on board is a lot worse than placing 12 damage counters.
But Justin has to have the Mirage Gate, you know?
He has to have all those energies he just shuffled back in.
Yeah. Oh,
there
boss
we go.
orders on the Comfey.
I ain't afraid of you. This is one way to go after this deck is just don't let them pick any flowers. Oh boy.
Nestash. All right.
What's in the box?
Shuffle your hand, place it on the bottom of your deck, and then draw 1 card. And then you draw 4 more cards with Bibarel right after.
Mystery card.
Oh, draw 5 more cards with B-Barrel right after.
Wow. Well, those aren't the cards I was looking for. Finding the basic energies is not ideal. You're hoping to at least still have a few of those to charge up onto the board. Looks like there is still a grass energy, so at least we have 3 attackers ready to roll on Dyson's side. The prize cards will continue to flow.
I have some bad news, though, Kyle.
Let's hear it.
Justin has the Mirage Gate.
Ooh, buddy.
And a water energy.
Well, I think that's good news. I want to see a game.
Well, bad news for Dyson.
Okay. Yeah, we could see the damage maybe this time around come down onto the Zacian V and the Giratina V-Star. And then you have a ton of Pokemon lined up to potentially target down with the Sableye.
And here we see the Mirage Gate before anything else, because the worst possible thing that can happen is you Flower Selecting or Pokestop into that water energy.
Yeah, we have seen that. We've seen the fleet-footed into the 1 energy.
Oh, that was brutal.
I cry every time.
So does Grant.
Grant has been through it, man.
Well, with that Mirage Gate 3 energy on the Radiant Greninja now, Justin still hasn't attached for the turn. He's going to start things off with a Flower Selecting. Gets rid of that Lost of Vacuum for Seal Stone. Oh, okay. Now has 10 in the Lost Zone, so Lost Mine is now active. But you get more damage off of Moonlight Shuriken. 180 damage compared to the 12 damage you get from, or 120 damage, I guess.
It's just going to try to make the math work out here. You're going to have 4 turns to get the job done.
It's doable.
Maybe. I think we did lose a Clara early on into the Lost Zone this game, so that makes it a little trickier.
Has already gone through 2 Recyclers, 1 in the Lost Zone, 1 played.
You know the first one's going to the Zacian V. It's going to be an easy Pokemon to target down with the Sableye eventually. You know it's not going to get healed.
It's going to make it
at this
40
stage,
left.
are you considering if Dragonite can ever get into the mix, and then you can target down the Arceus? Yeah, I like this a lot more. Just avoid any Sharon's Care issues. Get all the damage on board, and maybe you can chain together Sableye, Clara into the Sableyes once more. 360 damage to spread around on this board. Might get the job done. I'll pull up my calculator tomorrow. Who's backstage? Who wants to help? You can play at home, too.
Hashtag play Pokemon. Show us your math homework. Ultra Ball discards that Giratina V-Star and V-Guard energy. You're not really looking for anything, but you're just trying to thin the hand down as much as you can. You can grab that Arceus V, especially if you're going to Nest Dash. You can put it to the bottom. It's 1 card you don't have to draw later on. This is going to be tricky for Dyson to actually navigate this. Check that.
Please don't. I've been humiliated enough with the drawing experience. Well, having the resources to do this is going to be a whole different animal. Don't see any Sableye in there just yet. There is a 1 Psychic Energy. So if the resources are all there, Justin could plan this out.
Well, I believe there's still 2 Psychic Energy left in deck, so you can Mirage Gate to that Sableye.
Yeah, just the Recycler and the Clara in the Lost Zone, so that's not going to be too much of an issue.
It was a Boss's Orders, all right. Wow. Boss's Orders up the Sableye. There's that Industrious Incisors for 5.
Yeah, this just means that the Clara has to be used after the second Sableye is found, and then you target both of those Pokemon on the Clara search. So finding Clara isn't exactly the answer just yet.
How many Moonlight Shurikens is the record amount in the game?
If there's another one on board, that's...
It is. Justin has the Water Energy Mirage Gate in hand, so Mirage Gate can retreat this Comfey if possible. Another Mirage Gate.
Yeah, the problem with the math is you're actually 10 short if you use the Greninja in the mix, because you leave 50 damage off the board at some point. Or no, I guess you could attack the Squavit there and be able to get it done. So yeah, that would actually line up.
And again here, Justin starting the turn off with Mirage Gate. Only has Psychic Energy in the deck though.
Ruh-roh.
You have 2. That's fine.
We're fine.
We're fine. So this Mirage Gate can charge up that Radiant Greninja. You have the water from hand. I think with this play, you're signaling more towards Sableye then. I guess you could do either way, right?
Yeah, there's the water in hand. You could use all your resources, use the Radiant Greninja, take 3 prize cards, and then you're really trying to. Yeah, this is going to be all on the Clara then to close out.
Just
but
one left.
Understandably so. Do you have a Pokestop?
Don't tempt me with a good time, Kyle. Listen, it's the last regional of the year.
Spin
Can't
the wheel.
hold anything back.
You got to go for it. No, I don't know if we do.
Do you flower selecting? All right. Find Clara here. It's pretty much sealed up.
Looks like Comfey was one of the cards. Maybe could lead to thinning through. Pokestop not going to be necessary. It doesn't find Clara, but all right. Well, maybe finding the item cards would be nice too.
This Radiant Greninja must be tired. It has put in so much work.
It's been 3 days. We've seen the moon over and over and over again. Yeah, I think for the math to work out, you have to target down the Giratina V-Star and the Squavit.
Four minutes left in this match. Justin up 1-0. So really just playing for the win or a tie here at this stage.
Wow. Gonna take the prize cards. Really thought that those were going to be necessary to getting the job done. 3 prizes remaining, but there's no win on board.
It's really just 2 Sableye, right?
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be the Sableye trying to help out either way. 190, yeah, 220. You're gonna be fine with the Sableye there too.
And you still have Echoing Horn, so even if something like a Charon's is used, which is Charon prized, if we just not seen it all.
I mean, if you just
somewhere, maybe discarded through research.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't gotten to see too much from Dyson. Just trying to continue attacking with these Pokemon. Maybe could see a little bit of disruption here and try to use a Judge or something to make this hand a little more difficult to work with.
Looks like that's going to be the option for Dyson here. Justin's going to get a brand new hand of 4, but with a deck that small, you would think Lost Box would be able to draw on most of the cards they need. Dyson, on the other hand, you just got to hope. Hope this Arceus V-Star can go the distance.
Well, no, not worried about Arceus. I'm worried about his friends.
I wish I had those.
Same. Going to go ahead and get those cards into the hand, not take a look. Just checking out the resource battle here.
Found a path to the peak, can bump that Pokestop. This just gets rid of one more extender that Justin has available to him. And still has not found that Charon's Care, but has a research for next turn if and when that happens.
Tons of energies there in the discard pile. Looks like upwards of 7, 8.
Well, there's good news for Justin. Has Recycler and Clara in hand.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's what you're looking for. Could potentially use that Pokestop. Try to look for. Just kidding. See ya.
Yeah, that Pokestop would have been terrible, Kyle. What are you talking about?
No, not for Dyson. Dyson's turn is already done. Just do a little thinning, try to prep out to maybe find a card like that Sharon's Care, Boss's Orders, whatever you want to do to try to disrupt your opponent throughout the next few turns. Down to just a minute on the clock now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's done, but it needs to be because that minute left is still very scary. Dyson needs to win this game to be able to tie this matchup.
Yep, that was the pivotal prize card. Dyson will be guaranteed 2 turns throughout the rest of the game, so as long as they announce attack, it's going to be pretty solid, but Justin's going to try to work in this Clara and try to target down these final 2 Pokemon on board.
I like a Clara for double Sableye, double Psychic Energy. What about you?
That's where I want to go. Find a switching effect for this Comfey.
They're all in the prizes.
Why would you do that?
No, there's an escape rope.
There's a rope, okay.
But there was 2 switch cart.
And then I guess the only thing you need to look for is make sure you knock out that B-roll, avoid any issues there, healing.
It looks like time was called, so they're just clarifying the turns now.
This is
both players still have enough to win.
Yep. Both players going to have 2 turns, 2 attacks. This is what you're looking for. Multiple Sableye ready to go. Psychic Energy's on board as well. Has a switching effect. It's just going to consider what could potentially help me through this mess.
You just have to avoid the judge and not draw anything next turn.
Yeah.
But Justin does have a Pokestop left, so grabbing that Radiant Greninja can help extend.
Energy Recycler in the hand too, so if you ever want to recycle that Psychic Energy from the Sableye after it is knocked out, you're going to have that opportunity. And any energy also could lead to additional cards from Radiant Greninja if you are able to counter the Stadium.
There is that escape rope. Sableye is going to be placed in the active. And Lost Mine is going to start spreading some damage. Set up the win for Justin next turn here. And just shuffling back that one cycle, like you said, you just need to find that next turn.
That's the one.
Now, Justin has to KO the B-Barrel here, right?
Yes.
You share, I mean, there's still Echoing Horn, but it is very beneficial.
That's the Pokemon I want to knock out. Yeah. Get the rest of the damage, or at least a relevant amount of damage, onto the Giratina V-Star. I'll understand it's basically checkmate if you get all the damage on there, so might as well. Load it up. It's going to be all on Lost Mine next turn, and Dyson's got a decision to make.
No way to draw extra cards here, and I think there's no judge in the hand, and that's going to do it. Looking through the deck. You know, I haven't seen Sharon's Care at all. I'm just. Are we just?
It's not real. It's a lie. It's the new Roxanne.
I don't know. Dyson's looked through the entire deck. We've seen his prize cards. We've seen the hand. I don't see it.
Yeah, without Industrious Incisors here, no additional draw. It's going to be the research there to burn through. Going to have the knockout on the Sableye, but Justin just needs that Psychic Energy to close out, and it is in hand.
And
there we go.
There is the concession from Dyson. Justin Bakari going on to 5-0 now with best deck in format?
Could be.
Lost Zone Kyogre?
Could be. Definitely the best deck in format when you turn 1 Dragonite V.
Yeah, I could see an argument for that for sure.
That is so dangerous. Yeah, we've talked about that before. We've seen the turbo builds that were trying to get the job done with just that strategy alone. To have that and also be able to commit to the Kyogre strategies, Radiant Greninja strategies, everything else that comes along with this deck, it's going to be a very strong competitor. And in the hands of that man, he's probably going to get a lot of work done.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he continues on for this tournament, but 5-0 start pretty good. Dyson still